if you don't process the grief at the time
No, yeah.
and you hold it, that's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I should have stayed home.
Yeah.
I should have cried it out. I should have got the help I
Yeah,
needed.
yeah.
I should have got a counsellor. I didn't do any of that. I went back to work
Yeah.
because I have no choice at this point.
Welcome to the 51%, the podcast where we cut through the noise and get back to basics when it comes to women's health. Through expert insights and powerful personal stories, we help you tune in to what really matters: your body, your well-being, your life. No one-size-fits-all advice, just real conversations to help you understand your health on your own terms. But before we dive in, I have a quick favour to ask. Please hit subscribe and join the 51% community on our website. It's free and it helps us grow, reach more women, and create events that really speak to the health and wealth challenges we all face. And finally, just so you know, everything shared on this podcast is for information only. It's not medical or financial advice, and always speak to a qualified expert for support. Monique, thank you for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you on. Could you introduce yourself? And we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of neuroscience, as well as, of course, your journey from, what you were doing before, what happened with, some of the medical issues, and to where you are now. That would be great. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you for having me, Shreya. My name's Monique Payneeandy, and I am a recent graduate of neuroscience and psychology. I'm a mum of 2 girls, and I have a grandbaby daughter who's 2.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, I'm going to kind of rewind quite a bit. I know you're a recent graduate in neuroscience, which is definitely something I really want to touch upon because it's something that I've come across in the past couple of years, and I find it so fascinating. And I hardly know anything about it. And seeing as you're a recent graduate, you can tell the audience a lot about it because I want to relate it to, our health and well-being. And people potentially might not relate neuroscience with their health and well-being, but I think there is so much to kind of dive into that, and it really, once you understand that side of things, it can really help you with your health and well-being.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, totally, I agree.
So can you talk a little bit about, I know we've had a conversation. I know you've had some health issues in the past, and I want to discuss that because it's a condition that not many people will be aware of, because a lot of people do get dismissed and then eventually get diagnosed with it, and a lot of people aren't familiar with the term. So I'm not going to say it now, but if you talk about that a little bit more and explain what that means and how it how you think it started, because obviously it starts in different ways for different people.
I've got fibromyalgia, also known as FMS. So it's fibromyalgia syndrome. I also have ADHD. And yeah, it's like the combination of the two. I've been through perimenopause and menopause. So that's happened. That's already done and dusted.
Yeah.
It was premature menopause that I went through. So my journey with fibromyalgia was brought on by the death of my dad, and it sent my body into deep psychological trauma. I was only 43 at the time, and I suffered quite badly with losing him. So my body sort of went into a shock.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to feel pain. 1 year after his death, I got diagnosed with ADHD. I knew that there was a lot going on. I think at the time I was just thinking it was grief. I was sort of dismissing the fact that 6 months before he died, I couldn't sleep at all. There was not an ounce. I was getting maybe about 1.5 to 2 hours in the night.
Yeah.
I was going to bed at the normal time, and my circadian rhythm, my sleep cycle, and my cycle of sleeping and getting up was so natural and spot on. It was like clockwork. 11:30 every day, wake up at 7:30. And that was just naturally, but then it just disappeared. And I think it was preempting his death and knowing that he was going to die. So it sent my body into, like I said, it sent my body into a shock. Psychologically, I didn't speak to anyone about it. I just knew it. I felt it. We were so close. I felt it. And I just dismissed it again. I didn't see anybody about it. I didn't get any help because you're in fight or flight.
Yeah.
I'm now trying to look after him and I'm looking after my kids. And I'm making sure that everybody's got what they need because I'm running around trying to see him, feeling guilty. I've got to go to work. And I was working really long hours as well. So I was working up in South Kensington in one of the prestigious hotels. I had quite a good job there and it was taking up all of my time, but I was trying to see my dad because I know he's going to die. So all those factors, there was no time to think about what was going on with me. I just knew it was happening. After my dad died, I had insomnia. I'd already got insomnia. That was it. It was there to stay. I was thinking, oh no, it's only a passing thing.
Yeah.
I think the one day that I did sleep was when the day he died, which is the worst thing to say, but I think my body was so mentally exhausted and the trauma of it. So my cycle stopped as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my cycle stopped completely before he died.
Yeah.
I remember it was January and I was like, what's happening? I'm too young for this. Like my cycle was as regular as clockwork.
Yeah.
But I think all
You were only 43, right?
I was only 43.
Yeah, so then it's like you're working crazy hours, you're working non-stop, and then obviously you've got your kids as well.
Yeah.
And then you know, your dad is in a bad way and you're trying to manage that as well. So your body is already in kind of serious stress overload, I'm assuming as
Yeah.
well, right? Your body and your mind,
Yeah.
right, together. So do you think as a result of that, yes, obviously during that you had the insomnia and then the stress caused the your menstrual cycle to stop,
Yeah.
no more kind of periods, but did you confuse that and think, am I menopausal? Is this menopause? Am I done?
I was just in denial. I was like, no way, not 43. That's too young. My friend had had a baby. One of my oldest friends, she'd had a baby at 43. So there was no inkling in my head, but I just knew that I just thought it was the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
I was also in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Yeah.
So I thought it was that. I really did think, oh, here's the price you pay for staying in a situation that is toxic. And it was really all these elements were getting to me, but I think I was more preparing myself for my dad to pass away.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my best friend.
So was that menopause or was it something where your cycle returned?
My cycle fluctuated after that
Right.
for a couple of years. So it would come back for 3 months and then it would disappear again.
Right.
And then and then I thought, okay, this is perimenopause. I've gone into shock. I've lost my dad. He died in my arms. I was holding him and I was telling him, you've got to let go. Because he was so sick. I just couldn't watch him suffer. I was like telling him to go. And he just wanted to be here for me and my girls. And my mum. He was always worried about us. After he died, I went straight back to work. And I worked for about maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And I ignored everything. I was just in fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah.
I was just going and there was like literally no emotions.
Yeah.
I don't even think I dropped to the floor when he died. And I remember obviously being inconsolable. But after that, I didn't cry.
Yeah. And did the fibromyalgia, was that in full force as well at the time?
Ah, right.
Or was
so
that
now,
after?
It was after. So
Right.
I went back to work and then I'd say he died in the September. I went back to work in November. I hadn't seen anyone about grief. I hadn't spoken to anyone I had no one to share with. I didn't really get much support. My school friends sort of rallied round, but then everybody gets on with their own lives.
Yeah.
So they leave you to get on with your grief. And then my daughter was getting ready to go off to uni the next year. So we were sort of prepping for that as well. And my mum was still here at the time. So I was like trying to engage with my mum and make sure she was okay and make sure my daughter was okay. And then I went back to work, and I think it must have been about maybe less than 6 months later, I broke out in bruises all over my legs, big bruises.
Okay.
So they'd appear on my thigh, on my knee, on my calf, on my hips. I even had one on my back, on my forearms, and I was like, this is a bit strange.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Did you go to the doctor?
I started sending pictures of the bruises to the doctor, like through emails, and I was like, this is weird. This is a strange thing. I wasn't seeing the GP that I currently had now. She's been amazing, but the other GPs were like, oh, okay, not really speaking about what it is. Then I went in with memory loss, severe memory loss. Like, I literally forgot my daughter's names. I'm looking at them dead in the face and going, what's like, and my daughter's getting offended.
Yeah.
Like, going, Mum.
Yeah.
And then I'm swapping names. Like, I'm calling Taya Paris and Paris Taya.
Yeah.
And they're both getting upset. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And I'm frustrated. I then left. I went to work, Kensington. My friend's a black cab driver. He brings me home. So I forget that my car is in the station car park. I could not remember where the car, I was going to call the police.
Yeah.
And then I sat on it for like 4 hours. I sat there thinking like, my brain is not functioning properly.
Yeah.
I can't connect the dots.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I got into the car last. I can't remember what I've done with the car.
So this is like brain fog on steroids almost. It's like severe brain fog. I mean, I can't even imagine if I said to my daughter, oh, what's your name? I can't remember your name. She'd be concerned. She would be absolutely concerned, and I would be scared. Because then you start thinking, hold on, I'm not in my 60s, 70s or 80s. Is this Alzheimer's setting in? Dementia? Like, then your mind starts racing, right? And then your body and your mind, obviously at this stage, you're already in serious stress mode.
Yeah.
Which is affecting it. It sounds like your lifestyle and what's happened has kind of exacerbated your perimenopausal symptoms to next level.
It wasn't even, now I'm looking back on it, my cycles had come back at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was perimenopause that was doing that. I think it was a combination of everything.
Right.
So I'm going through grief, trauma of grief.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't process the grief at the time, and you hold it, that's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
There are things that can happen to your, the neuroplasticity of your brain. There's things that can happen to your just your general mental health. If you don't process grief and you hold things like grief, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
I should have stayed home.
Yeah.
I should have cried it out. I should have got the help I needed.
Yeah.
I should have got a counsellor. I didn't do any of that. I went back to work because I have no choice at this point.
With the fibromyalgia, how did that manifest then?
After that, I started to crash because the bruising turned into pain. I was on the train and I'm rubbing my legs going, why do they hurt? Like, like to touch them, they're sore and they hurt, they're painful. And I'm thinking something's wrong. At that point, I don't know. I should have known what fibro is, but I didn't know what it was.
Well, I just thought, why would you? And I've never heard of it. These are all new things to me. A lot of these things are new things to me. So I've not heard of it at all. And it sounds similar to fibroids, which it does. It's similar. And for me, if I didn't know about it now, I'd think it was something similar, but it's absolutely not.
It's absolutely not. It was very strange because I thought I just thought it's just chronic pain. But as a child, I always used to have painful legs. And I think my daughter's got them. Like, she gets painful legs and she thinks it's like growing pains and stuff like that. But so I didn't really think too much. I know that I started to get anxiety at the same time, and I just wanted to work from home. So I asked my boss, can I come in like 3 days per week or 2 days per week and do the rest at home? I was working so efficiently at home anyway.
Yeah.
He was all for it. He was like, yeah, whatever, as long as you like stay with me. And then after that, I hit rock bottom. I started to get really depressed.
Right.
Yeah, so I started to feel such low mood and depression that I started to feel suicidal, and I had ideation, and it just escalated, and it was quite a quick turnover. The business shut down. He shut the business down. It wasn't my fault. And I was like, wow, that saved me. I can stay home now and just go to bed. And literally that's all I wanted to do. Draw the curtains and stay in bed.
What were the doctors saying at this point? Because you were having those, you were sending them photos, that was kind of ignored. And then what? That was that?
No, I told them that I went to see them because I thought it's going to be pretty soon where I'm not here anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my girls.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to any of my friends. I didn't actually want to do that because why am I feeling like I want to do that? And then I'm like, I just can't take the fact that my dad's died. I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought it was. Like, literally, that's just one thing, and that's it. So when I saw the doctors, they put me on to antidepressants.
Right.
And then I went into counselling, CBT. It was quite a high level of CBT.
Yeah.
I remember it being they were all quite worried. It's like I was on a watch list, or they'd put a little flag next to me.
Yeah.
So I had to go there every week.
Right.
And that was amazing. That really helped.
Was that all through the NHS?
It was all through the NHS. Okay. I've got, relatively good private healthcare now from a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Because when I needed it again, I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
They were like rejecting me after that. And I was like, oh my gosh, they saw me for, I think the usual amount of sessions is about 6 or 12. They saw me for maybe from March all the way through to like September. And sometimes it was twice a week. Yeah. So that really helped. And what we discovered through going through therapy was that I was holding childhood trauma. And that was all coming out.
Right.
Now, there's another level. There's no parents to look after you. You haven't got your parents there my dad wasn't there. My best friend wasn't there anymore to worry about, for instance. I was just always worried that if I told him things that had happened to me in my childhood, he would have gone ballistic. He was literally like my best buddy. We spoke about everything. So losing him was bad. Yeah, after when the counselling started, I spent that 8 months in bed, like straight 8 months in bed. And then I said to my counsellor, I'm going to book a flight and I'm going to go somewhere. And she said, no, you're not. You're actually going to sit down, because what you do is, I was travelling like 5 times a year. She goes, you're trying to run away from whatever it is that's hurting you. And I was like, wow. I am going to sit down. And
were you still going through the physical pain at that point as well, with the fibromyalgia?
Yeah, I was going.
But that wasn't diagnosed at that point, was it?
Wasn't diagnosed still, no. It was after all the counselling that I had more sort of focus on, I'm going to get seen. And that's when I met my current doctor, Dr. Dean, and she is out of this world amazing. I know I'm lucky. Yeah. And I know
you are, definitely.
I know I'm fortunate. I know I'm blessed, because that in itself is hard to find. Yeah. So she sent me to a musculoskeletal specialist. Right. So after those 8 months being in bed, it made it worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course,
It was awful. After those 8 months, I went to see a musculoskeletal specialist that she sent me to. And straight away, he did some tests and he was like, right, I know what you have. You've got fibromyalgia.
What is fibromyalgia then? Because that's a big question.
Big question.
Because it's, It sounds like it's quite difficult to diagnose.
Yeah.
And it could be dismissed or potentially not dismissed, actually. It could be diagnosed as something else.
I did get dismissed with it.
Yeah, and
I have been
dismissed.
dismissed with
So
it.
there's both, you know,
Yeah.
you can get dismissed or diagnosed with something else when it's not that. So there's lots of things. Because, yeah, so tell me, what's fibromyalgia?
Fibromyalgia it's a chronic condition and it affects about 8% of the population.
Okay.
So it's widespread body pain, but it comes with symptoms of brain fog, memory loss, IBS, restless legs. What else does it give you? Anxiety, because now you've got no strength. There's a weakness around it because you're in consistent body pain. Imagine as though your pain receptors in your head have switched on and they believe that you're in some kind of danger. So like it's like an alarm clock setting off in your head and it doesn't switch off and you can't turn it off. And then that then gives signals to the body. You feel like you're in pain. Yeah. And that's consistent pain, consistent chronic pain. And if you have flare-ups, as they call it, there's a term in fibro called flare-ups. That means that you literally cannot handle the pain around your body. You might get migraines. There's a lot to it. It's very complex and it's very difficult to ascertain in middle-aged women, whether it's perimenopause, menopause, or fibromyalgia. And in my case, because I'd gone through both at the same time, and I had ADHD, but we'll get to that. So I was diagnosed with ADHD as well a year later. They all have similar traits. They all have they show up in similar ways.
Right.
Fibromyalgia makes you have a higher sensitivity to pain.
Right.
You have a higher sensitivity. So if I tap you, you're going to feel it more than a person that doesn't have the condition.
Right. Okay.
And it's very unexplainable, but because you can't see it, that's why the diagnosis is complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would be even more complicated when you're going through perimenopause and the symptoms it's all muddled up. So then it's a case of, well, is it perimenopause and that's it? Or is it fibromyalgia and that's it?
Yeah.
But yours was a combination of both.
I think mine was a combination of all three. Because I think the ADHD...
Well, yeah, and the ADHD, which you didn't know about
Which I didn't know about. It was my daughter that told me about getting diagnosed with ADHD because she'd been diagnosed. And I was like, don't be silly. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
And then she said, no, Mum, seriously, go and read all the traits that it shows up with and it's you. And I said, don't be so silly.
Yeah.
She goes compulsive shopping, like buying multiple items of the same colour, not being able to complete a task. Like, oh, I'll do that, walk out the room, and then you forget to do the something that you said you were going to do, send an email or whatever.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways that it shows up. Procrastination.
Yeah.
Hypersensitivity. Hypersensitivity also shows up in fibromyalgia. Even though it's a physical one, it is an emotional thing as well.
Yeah.
So because you feel so vulnerable, but all these elements overlap. So they didn't know what was going on, but the doctor gave me the HRT.
Yeah.
Like, here you go, here's HRT. She just thought perimenopause, that's it.
Is this the doctor before the one
This
you
is
have
the doctor
now?
before the one that I have now. The one that I have now is the one
Yeah.
that sent me to the musculoskeletal specialist.
Yeah.
Because I could not explain the pain. And I thought, no, I just thought if this is trauma, it's time for it to leave now.
And you've been dismissed a lot.
I have been dismissed a lot.
And kind of told that it's in your head and not believed and all sorts of things. You've gone through the mill with all the, accusations and all sorts of things. And some of it's got to do with, the colour of your skin, basically, quite frankly. And
I had a guy say, It's in you. You see this? It's all in your head. And he was actually a physiotherapist. Can you imagine? I was mortified. I went, is it? That's because I'd already read about it then and started to investigate what it was.
Yeah.
Prior to going to university and learning about neuroscience. But yes, that was really upsetting.
Yeah.
And it's upsetting when friends go, there's nothing wrong with you. I've had that. And I'm like, I've just told you that I have something, not willingly, because I don't share it. This is probably the most open space and that I'm going to share it on. Because I don't tell people directly unless they go to slap me on the thigh.
Yeah.
Which my friend did recently. And she was upset with me.
Yeah.
And because I went, ow. She went, oh my God, I barely touched you.
Yeah.
And I went, but it really hurt. Yeah. And then I had to explain, I've got fibro. Yeah. And the repetition of telling people that I've got fibro, it's enough. So now I don't tell people. If you ask me if I've got something wrong with me, then I'll tell you. Yeah. But I don't want it to be my identity. Yeah. That's not who I was. I now have it. I deal with it in my way. But we have what's called, in FMS, we have what's called spoons. Fibromyalgia syndrome, FMS. So we have what's called spoons. And you have to imagine that you have 15 spoons for the day. Mm-hmm. So every time you go to do a task, that's one spoon. Hoover the house, one spoon. Make the bed, 2 spoons. Go to the kitchen and make a cup of coffee, 3 spoons. And once you get to your 15th spoon, you have to listen to yourself. And if you have to rest, you have to rest. So sometimes I'll tell people like, oh, I'm really sorry. I've just got to go and lie down for a minute or sit down for a minute. Yeah. I won't say, oh my God, I've got fibro. I have to lie down. If you ask, if you know me as a good friend, you'll know that I have it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Brings on a lot of other symptoms as well, like depression. And that depression can bring on loneliness, isolation.
Am I right in saying then, fibro typically kind of manifests after some form of trauma?
No.
Okay, well that is completely incorrect then. So how
it can do. Oftentimes.
Okay, I guess that's one of the reasons, the reasons.
Yeah. Oftentimes.
Then what are the other reasons why it kind of what reason can it kind of just come about?
It can be genetic. Right. So it can be passed down the family bloodline. Yeah. And that to me is just because I've studied neuroscience now, so I understand a bit more.
What about generational trauma then?
Yes.
Because that's then passed down through the bloodline, like kind of genetic, is it maybe?
And ADHD.
So, yeah.
And ADHD as well. My dad knew he had it. He'd written it in a book.
So ADHD is linked to fibro? Is that right?
No, it's not linked, but it has similar processes. Right. Where there's a reduction in dopamine. Yeah. Right. Dopamine is your motivation. Yeah. And it helps with motivation and movement and reward. Yeah. And that's the chemical that starts to disappear. And ADHD, people with ADHD also have low dopamine, serotonin levels. Yeah. So that's the similarity.
Right, I see.
Menopausal women, low dopamine, hence they start getting depressed. Not because you hit midlife. Yeah, yeah. It's because the chemicals,
your hormones. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, chemicals are imbalanced. Yeah. And when that imbalance happens, it causes havoc. And you don't know it because you're looking in the mirror thinking, I look the same, I feel the same, I talk the same, everything's the same except for how I'm feeling. Yeah. And then you start trying to pick what could be the cause be. Yeah. Am I unhappy here or or did this happen? And that is a real problem. A lot of
that's because I guess when you're going through that perimenopausal phase and your dopamine levels are low, then you start picking out and thinking, what about my life is crap? Is it that's making me unhappy? Is he making me unhappy? Is she making me unhappy? Are all my friends making me unhappy?
Yeah.
Are all my family making me unhappy? You try and find
A reason.
a reason of and find that one person that is like really making you unhappy and you can get rid of. But it's actually
your chemicals.
It's not probably that. It's the fact
hormone
that
balance.
your hormones are just. So I guess it's trying to take a step back, and when that process is going on, taking a step back and thinking, okay, it's my hormones that are making me feel like this. It's not necessarily that person or this situation.
Yeah.
You kind of got to reel it back in, don't you?
And now,
because I mean, I do that sometimes. When I feel like shit and my dopamine levels might be on a low, I start finding reasons why. Is it because, is it because of my work? Is it because I'm not getting anywhere with my work? Is it because I haven't completed the 50 million tasks I've got to complete? Is it my husband? Is it my kids? Is it
No, it's probably just the reduction in estrogen.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is a simple explanation. So when that doctor is trying to throw those tablets at you, it's actually for a reason, because there's a reduction in estrogen. Yeah, so the reduction in estrogen wreaks havoc on your limbic system.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're depressed. You want a new husband. you want to live in Dubai or whatever the hell it is you want.
Oh my God, my thing
or in
at
the
moment.
Yeah, you want all these mad, like these. Not mad. I mean, they're very doable. But why do you feel that way? And then why do you go in so deep and start questioning yourself? That could be the hypersensitivity. You're hypersensitive to things around you.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't make you a cup of coffee this morning, and that's a reason to divorce him. It really isn't. You just say, babes, when you get up tomorrow, could you make me a coffee? Don't forget. It's that simple. And you go, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. And that's the job done. I mean, I'm not a relationship counsellor.
No, but there is a correlation between women going through these hormone fluctuations, perimenopause, menopause, and the rates of divorce. As well. There is a correlation with that as well. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and counsel anyone, because I'm I'm not a counsellor, and I'm certainly not a relationship guru, but there is that correlation. And sometimes obviously you just these things happen and you have to let people go, but that sounds really bad. Sorry, you have to.
Oh, I'm getting to that. I'm going to get to that. Actually, I'm going to get to that, because that does relate. Letting people go is actually a process that I'm sure people with ADHD have gone through, and I'm sure people with fibro have gone through it as well, FMS, because if you want to bring me drama and stress or negativity, that impacts my physical, my bio, physio, social. That it impacts all of it. That impacts my body. That impacts my health. If you want to be, say, hostile towards me, and you're my friend, but you're just being that kind of friend, then I've got to let you go. And I have done it. And it's been really hard, because I really like the people that I've had to say goodbye to, because you don't understand that I'm in 24/7 chronic physical pain. I don't have time for that. And you want to draw me into an argument, say, I don't want to be part of the argument. I just want peace, love and happiness. And as my daughter Paris once said to me, she goes, Mum, you think you're all love and light? I said, yes, I do. I actually do. And I want to be love and light. So, I'm not perfect, but
Okay. So let's dive into the whole neuroscience thing, because I know, you went back to university to study. Finally, you it's like your dream come true, because you didn't get to do it at the kind of, I guess, typical age group people start university, 18, 19, 20. And you kind of went back to fulfilling your dreams, I guess, which is, going into something that you're really interested in and that you really want to delve into. So for people that don't know, let's just really strip it back and get to the basics of what exactly is neuroscience and how can neuroscience help, understanding even the basics of neuroscience, help you improve your health and well-being?
Okay, so neuroscience is the study of the brain and the nervous system. Neuroscience explains how your emotions, your feelings, your actions all work. And if something goes wrong, neuroscience can explain what has gone wrong, as in menopause, perimenopause, ADHD, fibromyalgia. So it gives an explanation behind it. It's the investigation as well. It's the science behind your nervous system. So you know, just to make a movement, there has to be some kind of message. Neurotransmitters are sending those messages, and then there's receptors, and there's all different kinds of. It's a machine. Your body's a machine.
Yeah.
So the reason I got into neuroscience and wanted to do it is because I studied at Regent's University in 2013 to become a remedial soft tissue therapist, so a sports masseuse. Every time I was massaging people, I knew exactly where to go on the body. And that for me was like a gift. But then I was thinking, he's got trouble at home, or she's got trouble at home, or something's upset them. I can feel it in their body. So I just wanted to know the connection between the mind and the body.
Yeah.
And that's what drove me to do it. But I also had like a level 5 anatomy physiology certificate. And I thought, okay, I'm going to study psychology. Also been bullied in that last job that I had. After the breakdown, I got a job because I was in so much debt. And I got bullied at work. And I was like, right, I'm going to go into corporate psychology because I want to know why she bullied me.
Right.
I don't really want to know why she bullied me. And now I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to hold that. And I don't want to see her again.
Yeah.
Because she's not a safe space. So I went with that certificate and I went to study neuroscience. It's how your brain communicates with the rest of your nerves and how your brain communicates with your nerves and what's happening to your brain in things like during sleep, trauma, depression, anxiety, ADHD. So it's everything encompassed. So it's basically the study of your brain and how it communicates with your nervous system.
Yeah. So how can someone, obviously, someone that hasn't studied neuroscience, how can I use it, or can I even use it to improve my health?
100%.
Without having studied it, but knowing that, okay, my brain pretty much controls my whole body and my hormones, and it controls a lot of stuff. Somehow this, thing controls everything. How can I change my brain, if that makes sense? That probably doesn't make that much sense, but how can I change the way I think?
You can.
And do to improve my physical, mental health, I guess.
So you can. It's neuroplasticity. So it's the change in the connections in the brain. It's important. That's why when you go and educate yourself. So after my breakdown, I went to university. After my mum died, so my mum died then as well. 2021, I went to university. I walked in to the uni and I literally had a panic attack. And I was all over the place. They were trying to get a brown bag for me to breathe in. I was all over the place. I don't know how I did it, but I got past that stage and every day got easier. And I couldn't string a sentence together. So you can imagine, I've gone through all this trauma, gone through a breakdown, have brain fog, memory loss, ADHD, chronic pain, IBS, and I go to study neuroscience. I am a complete, not to say vegetable, but I changed my brain because I went every day consistently, or I studied every day consistently. and I changed the way that my connections are happening now.
Mm.
So I wouldn't have been sitting here. I still have a bit of trouble with trying to execute some words or to try and form a full sentence.
Mm.
It does happen. And that's the old me trying to sort of sneak back in.
Yeah.
But you can change your brain and how you feel and how you think. And you've got to really dive into positivity. You've got to dive into meditation. You have to settle that noise. Because if you stripped all that noise, then everything is more acceptable. And actually, gratitude practice, there's a lot of things that you can do to change your mindset using neuroscience. All you've got to do now, because we're so blessed, I think, to have at our fingertips any information you want to get.
Yeah.
You're just going to go on to AI, you're going to grab it straight away. And it will tell you, it'll explain it. And you can say to it, explain it in simple terms. What's happening to me? Why do I feel like this? It might give you the chemical reasons why.
Yeah.
You know, dopamine has altered its state. Serotonin levels are reducing. GABA. There's all these different chemicals and they all have different actions within your body and they're all responsible for something. So it's like, it's a hard thing to explain.
Yeah,
but it's
I
like
guess it
losing a
depends.
friend.
Yeah. And
You've lost your estrogen friend.
Yeah. And I guess it depends what's going on with your body. And I suppose it's really about, the first thing is to tune in to your body and understand, hold on, what's going on? What am I feeling? Am I feeling happy, sad? Why am I feeling that?
Yeah.
And then kind of working backwards to understand, okay, my estrogen, my dopamine, my, cortisol levels, all these things are being impacted. Then what can I do with this, with my brain, to
improve it?
To improve it.
So if you know something's happening, and this is the thing that I really stand by. Once you know something's happening, there's acceptance.
Yeah.
That's the process. Accept it and then try to tackle it and see what you can do about it.
Yeah.
So that was the process with me and my fibro. I was in denial. I was in such denial. I didn't want to have it. I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the gym like I used to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I wanted to run around and do 70 hours. I just wanted to run after the kids and just be here and there and here and there and do everything. And all of a sudden it stopped. And that was really hard to accept. And that was really hard to become that person because I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I want to be my size 8 person.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not happening anymore. Well, it can. I can do that now. I would do that. I'd just be exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's a different person. Like, it's the same person, but with different boundaries, with different access, with different rules, with, my whole well-being. Like you said, how can you make a change or change your brain? Is your practices, it's your time with your kids, it's quality time with people that make you happy, it's all good food, it's important to sleep. I'm an insomniac. I'm really surprised I've lasted this long with insomnia.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. I'm like I say, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky. I don't know how it's happened. I don't know how it's happening. Probably because I take like a melatonin tablet as well. I get a light sleep. I've never been a deep sleeper. But sleep, all these factors are important. The people that you have around you, they're important. What you do with your time is important.
Yeah.
Bed rot is easy when you've got FM. And I'm going to put my hand up and say I'm guilty of bed rot. Like, not often, but I have done it. And then I'll right now I've got things to do. I got impingement in my shoulder.
Yeah.
And that or rotator cuff injury in my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And this was about 2 months ago, and it literally stopped me in my tracks. And I'm like, why? I'm right-handed. Why the right hand? But then I thought, no, just give it some time. You'll be all right. And now it's getting better. So, what can you do?
Yeah.
I could have got really depressed and sad and upset and devastated. But no, don't do that. I go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
If I get there, because obviously being an insomniac, sometimes it's difficult. I try to stay in touch. If I don't go to my church, I stay in touch with my faith. A lot of people are not religious, but find something that soothes your nervous system and calms it down.
Yeah.
If somebody tries to have a pop at me or a words, I'll walk away politely, or I'll just have a little sentence.
From the trauma, childhood trauma, and then obviously the trauma with your father, passing away, and then the stress of work, and then you're raising 2 girls on your own amazingly. You've done an amazing job with that.
Well,
the girls
the
are
job's
amazing.
done.
I've never met your girls, but they
You will do.
I know hearing from you, they're amazing. And you've got a granddaughter that you look after. You've been to university. You've been on the show. You've got diagnosed with ADHD, fibromyalgia, and you're here now. I just want to ask you, what advice, you've come from here to here. You've been on a huge journey with lots of different things, right? And lots of women go through lots of journeys of their own. Every woman's journey is different. So what advice would you give to women that are on some sort of journey, whatever that is, whether it's similar to you, worse than yours, slightly less worse than yours, or whatever, but everyone's worse or less. That's a personal thing as well, right? Your worse might be even worse for me. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So it's you can't even really compare that. So what advice would you give to women, going through a journey to kind of improve their health and their well-being? How do you think they can do that? And what kind of words of wisdom would you give them?
I think I would tell them to take notes, see what's different, see what's changing. Even in a menstrual cycle, if you're still bleeding, see what the changes are, write them down. Go and see a GP.
Yeah.
If you have a GP that's not very nice, go and find another one.
Yeah.
It's trial. It literally is trial.
Yeah.
And you have to really take things seriously about your health, because it can be so debilitating. I didn't know I was going to go through perimenopause at that age.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
I actually had the bugs, and I kept doing this. Yeah. Like, what is that? Yeah. And then I had that itchiness on the back. And it was like, the best way to describe it is like an itchy, prickly heat. And I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I'd be jumping up in the bed, like out of bed, and going, what's on my back? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just a tingling feeling or an irritable feeling.
Yeah.
That, I think she did describe it. It can make you feel like you are losing your mind.
Yeah.
Having undiagnosed ADHD and really, really going through the worst times, because obviously your estrogen levels fluctuate during perimenopause, but you also have this play with the dopamine altering.
Yeah.
You also have, substance P doing its thing, and it's releasing cortisol. So you're not only are you getting stressed and depressed and all these other things, you have to make notes of where's it coming from, what could be responsible for it.
Yeah.
And I think my advice to women is just know yourself very well. I know myself really well now.
Yeah.
So I know if I need to rest, I'm going to rest. Yeah. No one's going to tell me anything about my rest time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I want to rest. If I want, or it's not even a want. I work tirelessly for years. You know, I had my first job, paper round, 9, 10. And then it was work. Work. It's always been work.
Yeah.
And then it's been kids on my own. Being a single parent is immensely one of the hardest jobs that you could ever have, especially having 2 children.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not responsible for that father of the kids walking out the door. That's not my responsibility. That was his. But it is a hard job.
Yeah.
I've heard people go, oh, you were a single parent. No, I was a warrior, a soldier. You know, I can't best describe it, but even being a mother with having a partner there,
well, you're not really
it's
single,
still hard.
You're not really single parenting at this point. You're double parenting.
So yeah, you know, you've got to understand that these are really important parts, and you as a mum or a dad have to be really present and really focused and really in that moment.
Yeah.
But because you're working and you're out in the field and you come home and you have to cook the dinner and then you're doing this. I remember having a day and a night job. So I'd come in, get my night uniform on and go to my night job and looking at my kids. You know, my mum's there. And I'm thinking to myself, thank God that I had the parents that I had, because they were the only people, bar a couple of friends, that actually helped me out with my kids. And I was very prideful. I didn't want to ask people.
Yeah.
But my parents loved having them.
Yeah.
So I was lucky.
Yeah.
I was really lucky.
Oh, yeah. Some people don't have
They don't have that.
They don't have that either. So, you know, that kind of leads on to the next, you know, question of, I guess that, you know, there's some pillars of health, whether there's 5 or 6 or 7, you know, for me, I just stick to 5 in my head. You know, sleep, nutrition, movement, social connections, you know, out of those 5 pillars. Oh, and obviously your mind, your mental well-being, right? Out of those, what would you personally pick as your top priority for yourself now, and why?
This is so hard. It's difficult because they have a massive impact on everything, especially neuroscientifically.
Yeah.
So your nutrition actually feeds your brain. So you have to look after your nutrition.
Yeah.
Your sleep is very, very important for your, you know, your regeneration of cells, and that's also important. But I think I would choose sleep.
Yeah.
Right now, I would choose sleep because as each night passes, I just think, wow, how long have I really got? Because in theory, I haven't really slept since 2017. So when you think about it, and people are thinking I'm lying, but I'm actually not. I'm under the care of UCLH in the sleep clinic.
Yeah.
So I think I'm having a sleep study done on me next year.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Early next year.
Yeah.
But I'm under their care. So I have like lots of medication that they give me, and it just makes me feel awful and groggy. But I take it, blah, blah, blah. I still don't sleep. So for me, it possibly would be sleep.
Yeah.
I think about the comorbidities that surround insomnia and, you know, how many of them are related to the fact that I don't sleep. Did these things happen because I was not sleeping? You know, 9 months before my dad died. I think I got about 1.5 to 2 hours a night.
Yeah.
And I was documenting it, so I knew.
Yeah.
And then my mum was like, your dad called at 2 a.m. because he was put himself in a care home, which we all were upset about, but he'd call her. And that was the same time that, you know, I'd have just probably maybe dropped off.
Right, yeah.
2 a.m. dropped off, 4 a.m. I'm back awake. So that was it. But sleep isn't rest. It's like a neurochemical reset, especially for people with ADHD.
Right. Okay.
So they have to have rest.
Sleep for me is an intentional thing, and if I don't do it intentionally and I decide to stay up or watch Netflix all night or whatever, that's a mistake I've made, and I've purposefully done that. Whereas with you, you have something going on that you're trying to figure out, that's why you're not getting the sleep. So there's a bit of a difference there in kind of comparing, you know, my focus on sleep is different to your focus on sleep because you've got something going on which you're trying to figure out, right? So it's not, it's not you can't blame yourself if that makes sense.
It's so frustrating.
It's frustrating, but I can't sit here and go, oh, you know, Monique, you really got to focus on your sleep. Why don't you get 7 or 8, 9 hours sleep a night? You know, that's what I mean. So there's no point in me saying that to you because, or why don't you stop going on your screens or not stop watching Netflix? You have something going on, whereas you can say that to me. And going,
I can
Shreya,
say that to you.
You know, stop going on your screens before you're sleeping, or why are you watching Netflix till 1 a.m.? Like, you know, what you're doing. That you can say to me because it's my own bloody doing, right?
I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, because when you're up at night, it's a really lonely place. The whole town you live in is asleep. Most of the town, or the country is asleep. And you're there like this, wide-eyed. I've got hypervigilance. So what happens is my head will hit the pillow and I'll go into this first layer of sleep. Not into a deep sleep. And then all of a sudden it'll be like this. Wide. It was as though I was never asleep at all. And that I've got hypervigilance because of childhood traumas. And that's it. But now I've looked back on my life, I think I've always been a very, very light sleeper. Like, you know, with one eye open or listening because the kids were in the back bedroom. And because we were on the ground floor, I was always wary of, is someone going to break? I was always worried. But that's just my emotional state. My, you know, my fear. I'm always thinking I'm living in fear or, oh my God, I've got to be so protective over them. And it's something that I can't combat. I've tried. I mean, when I do get sleep, I think I'm not at home. Because there's something about, nothing's happened in my home, but it feels as though that's the place that I identify and I associate with not being able to sleep. But good sleep, you know, it's good for your attention, it's good for your mood, it's good for your executive function. But I still manage. That's why I say I am I'm a great case for a sleep study. But I found this question really difficult, so I put social connection. As well. Because it would be very level pegging with sleep. I think I'm missing social connection because I'm an empty nester, and that has feelings like grief. So there's a whole loss of identity. There's a whole loss of responsibility. There's a whole loss of, you know, things that were my life. And I said it to my daughter, whatever you do, try to keep the baby at home until she's like 25, 30. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because she always wanted to have her own place at 16. And she always wanted to be really independent and decorate her own thing. And we are really close. So I can understand that she's probably associating with her. But I'm coming from a place of experience and I can feel the depression. I can feel the loneliness. My dog passed away on graduation day, on my graduation day. And I was like, wow, now I'm really, really alone. I've had her for 18 years. But at least I can go home and fulfill those roles. I've got to feed the dog. I've got to walk the dog. It's not the same as looking after kids, don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to compare it, but it was my other heartbeat.
I guess like with social connections, you know, it's a case of it's inevitable typically that at some point, you know, when you have children, they will leave home. You know, probably a bit later these days with the whole, you know, everything's so bloody expensive.
Because the rent is ridiculous, the mortgages are impossible, and it's
so
hard
it's delayed.
for them.
It's delayed potentially, unless, you know, they're extremely wealthy, I guess, or unless they just don't want to leave home. But and pets is another thing. but just generally, I guess, social connections is important, even if you have got kids at home, just to keep you sane as well, right? You need to go out and build a community of friendships and like good friends that don't test you,
don't make you
make
feel
you feel
unsafe.
like crap. Yeah.
I think you have to have friends that make you feel safe.
Yeah.
And that make you feel happy.
Yeah.
And if they don't complete those two tasks, you're not my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've met so many people coming off the show that are in the public eye, and I just call them, they're my friends. They are my friends.
Yeah.
I'm not delusional. We actually go out.
Yeah.
I go to their house, or we go out for dinner, and I feel really safe around them. They're really good people.
Yeah.
And there's been people that I've known probably all my life, and they've made me feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And I've had to go, you know what? I just can't be around you.
I guess, and that's okay. People change, life changes, and I guess the main thing is you don't need to have, everyone says you don't need to have, 15, 20, 30
No, you don't.
amazing friends.
No, you don't.
2, 3, 4, 5. If you got 5, that's like you're bloody lucky, or 6, whatever. But even a couple, you just need that safety of that, and just community and socializing, going out and doing different things and experiencing different things. Because at the end of the day, I guess for me, the way I think now is, experiences are so important, because that's what you're going to remember.
Yeah. And your happiness.
And they say you're not going to remember, when I don't know where either I heard it or read it or something. This is not me. It's a repetition from someone somewhere that, people when they're on their deathbed, they don't say, and they're not going to say, oh, I wish I stayed longer at work in that office.
No.
No, I wouldn't know anyone that would say that. And if they did, I think, oh wow, that job must have been bloody amazing for you to want to just stay there instead of spending time with your friends and family, or going on that holiday, or spending the money and doing the things you want to do, because you're not going to die with your money either.
No,
you're not.
You live longer. They've done studies now that if you see your grandchildren more, you live longer. If you have a partner in the bed, it's releasing. There's energy between bodies and people. This is all going back to neuroscience. What chemicals does it set off in your brain when you're sleeping next to your partner, your husband?
So I guess sleep and social connection. I'll give you another one. I'll let you have another one. but yeah, no, it's fine. It's just, I just, wanted to know your top. But yeah, no, so, thank you so much for sharing your journey and, diving quite deep into the, I guess, I know you don't like to call them conditions, but, with the fibromyalgia.
Yeah, well, it is a condition.
It is,
It is a condition, but I just don't like to give it a label, I think, because I don't want it.
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
and then, obviously you talked about your ADHD and then a bit about neuroscience and your degree and stuff. So no, thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you
for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you for having me.